Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from Austin, Texas, broadcasting worldwide, it's Alex Jones.
He predicted in the last year that we would see the acceleration of the death of the dollar as the world reserve currency in the month of December, and that's certainly happening with gold and silver exploding, unemployment well above 23%. But there's the real world that Gerald Celente covers. Then there's the delusional world telling us that in June of last year, the recession ended. But every real economic indicator is we're in deep trouble. And they announced in the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago, record profits, even above the profits in 2008. The profits in 2009 and going into this year are even bigger for Wall Street. And so we're going to talk to Gerald Celente about WikiLeaks, about the economy, about what he sees in 2011. It's probably our last interview with him this year. And he's with us for the rest of the hour. Founder of the Trends Research Institute, trendsresearch.com. He really needs no introduction. Gerald, I didn't talk to you ahead of the show. I've thrown out some of the issues I want to cover. But this is a short segment, as you know, long segment coming up. What are some of the biggest trends you're looking at right now, and what bombshells do you have for us we're going to cover in this hour?
Look what happened in the UK on Friday. And go back to the Autumn Trends Journal. The headline of the Trends Journal was Off with Their Heads 2.0. What were they screaming at the royal couple in their Rolls Royce? Off with their heads. The people have had it. They're fed up. They know the deal.
In fact, you always say that. You said it's going to be off with their heads.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I tell people if you want to know a good entrepreneurial business to consider, guillotines might be it. Because this is going worldwide. The people know the deal, Alex. Here's the deal. It's called austerity measures. What austerity measures equal, you lose your job. If you have one, you get paid less. You get your benefits cut. Oh, and by the way, we're going to raise your taxes. And you know why? Because the white shoe boys can't get a haircut. That's their language for taking losses on multi-billion-dollar bad bets that they've made. So the people are angry. And what happened in the UK with the increase in tuition going up, check it out, 200%. You think they're angry? And by the way, they also know that an education is a degree in worthlessness these days because it doesn't mean you're going to get a job. So if people want to look at something really hot going on, stay with that story and stay with this. They took it out of the British news like that. It was wiped out of the news, of the off with their heads news, the day it happened. So this is something really to focus in on.
Absolutely. Spontaneous rage and anger. When we come back, let's talk about Ireland. It's admitted that the people don't owe the money. It's the offshore banks that owe the money. And as soon as they entered the EU, which is an admitted receivership takeover system, as soon as they were under that contractually, then they tell them, oh, your economy's over. We've got to raise your taxes, cut all your benefits. And the head of their private central bank even told the BBC that it's good to have foreigners own your country. I mean, these are just such brazen. And I've got another Republican congressperson today in the news saying Congress exists to serve the banks. It's like insane hubris.
Yeah, and that's what it's come to. And this is the aggravation and anger while people are losing their homes. They have lousy jobs. Yeah, I'm going to tell you what the deal is. It's this. Get up in the morning, go to work. I don't care if the kids are sick. Get somebody to take care of them. And take that lousy commute that you hate. And when you get to work, I don't want to hear any belly aching. Do your job, even though you hate it, and you have the job because you need the money and you need the benefits. And stay late. And then I'll tell you what to do with your money. That's what's going on.
All right, stay there. We're going to break it all down and where you see it going with Off With Their Heads in 2011. Gerald Celente's our guest, trendsresearch.com. Stay with us. Issue we're going to be tracking with Gerald Celente is the increased crime we're seeing, and the government's been caught trying to spin those numbers as well. We're seeing big calls for internet censorship. Google was in the Wall Street Journal 2 days ago. They had a big report where they're being caught not just censoring alternative news, but also their competition. Google is really needs to be replaced, like MySpace or other things that become draconian. It's time to leave Google. It's time to start the exodus away from that big brother institution. We've got Gerald Celente joining us. He has been saying for at least 2 years on my show, it's going to be off with their heads. And I remember him, it's got to be 6 months ago. In fact, if listeners can pull it up, I've seen him on national TV too, the same thing. Going into December, I mean, I hate to imitate you, but I mean, you can imitate me. It's just, I'm trying to give the exact, flavor of what you said. It's going to be off with their heads. Going into December, going into 2011, it's going to be revolution by 2012. I mean, you've said that over and over again, and now it's off with their heads. A spontaneous riot attacking the Duchess of Twitliness and the Prince of Corruption.
Yeah, and we're going to keep seeing it. I'll give you another one, Alex. 2 weeks ago, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before, the New York Times, the toilet paper of record, wrote a feature story in the magazine section on America's least hated banker, Jamie Dimon, the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase. The guy, as you're reading this story, this puff piece, all the way into it, he said, oh, by the way, my mommy and daddy, my mommy's good friends with the Dimon family. Just a little note. Yeah, so then you read this puff piece and then go to the New York Times website. Read the story and then look at the comments. One scathing comment after another. What a suck-up and brown-nose of this guy Lowenstein who wrote the story is. What a disgusting character Jamie Dimon is. It got so bad that they stopped having comments coming in after 138 of them. I think probably the only good comment was this guy Lowenstein's mother, who's good friends with Jamie Dimon's family. So when you read this stuff and you see the anger out there, it's real. But here's the other side. Look how those brave bobbies beat up all those students. Did you see the one from the BBC where they grabbed this guy out of a wheelchair and dragged him across the pavement, and this disgusting interviewer on the BBC is saying to the guy, you got to see it. Well, they said that you were rolling at them, the police. And if you think the media in this country is servile, you got to look at theirs. It's just as bad. So what they're going to do is they're going to keep coming harder and harder down on the people to stop the revolution. So that's what we're up against. It's going to be a cyber war, and it's going to be the real war. It's going to be the government crackdowns and the people trying to rise up. It's no different than any other revolution.
You know, I'm glad you raised that issue because I want to discuss what you see happening in the next year, what's going to happen in the economy, but also the government and the Fortune 100 response to it, but also what you expect to see the population do. But I make these hardcore, scathing videos about the banking system, about the telescreens going in Walmart, telling citizens to spy on each other and spy on other shoppers. I mean, it's right out of 1984. And if you click on the YouTube like or dislike, depending on the video, it'll be 3,000 likes next to 50-something or 100-something dislikes. I mean, it's literally 95% of people agree with me and disagree with the government. Then if you go to the Homeland Security official webpage, per video, it will be thousands of dislikes and every comment hating them and saying, we know you're the terrorist, we know you're staging the events, why don't you report on yourselves? And almost no one liking. In fact, there it is on screen of one of my videos with close to 300,000 views. The title of the video, if folks want to go look at it, is Walmart Invasion, part of larger DHS takeover of America. There is 1,733 likes, 94 dislikes. Now, again, you go over to the Homeland Security website, and it's the flip of that, and you read the comments, everyone gets it. You know, they're saying, you want us to not trust each other. You want us to spy. This is like Nazi Germany or East Germany or Russia. Hey, I want to report on Chertoff ordering the naked body scanners and then making money off of them. I mean, people are really getting educated. There's an explosive awakening happening, and they are saying off with their heads. I'm concerned, though, and I've seen the government provocateur to try to start something violent so they have a pretext to clamp down. But I want to warn the government. This could backfire on you trying to start a fight or staging terror attacks like a new Oklahoma City to blame it on the Liberty Movement. Your comment on the awakening, when you see it really going to flashpoint, and how you see the establishment countering us, Gerald Celente.
You know, my saying as a Bronx boy, when people lose everything and they have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And they're losing it because they're losing their homes. They're losing their jobs. These guys, these people getting and women getting out of college, again, with these degrees in worthlessness, they can't find jobs. You think they're angry, and they got all that testosterone running through these guys. You think they're going to take to the streets and take it out on somebody? When is it going to happen? It's going to happen when people finally wake up to the reality that the dollar isn't going to be worth a dime. That all they've saved, they've saved for nothing. They find out that they're rich, as we've seen, and I love it now. Now that I've been saying this, I don't know how many years, that the gap between the rich and the poor is the widest in the U.S. than any of the industrialized nations. Now, just now, mainstream media is finally saying that. So as they see the richer get richer and them getting poorer, what do they have to lose by taking to the streets? Nothing. So what we're going to look at, and I want to make this clear also. We predicted the crash of 2010. It's in the Trends Journal. It was a top trend that came out last December, a year ago. What we made it perfectly clear it would not be an equity market crash because it was a rigged market and it was going to be cheap interest rates that keep floating this. And we also said there would be schemes undreamed of that would keep propping it up. And we saw the scheme that just came out as a result of the Dodd-Frank bill, that the Federal Reserve has loaned, and under the table dealt over $13 trillion all over the world to all different kinds of companies. General Electric, Harley-Davidson, McDonald's, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank, the Tokyo Banks, Bank of England. The con game is that they're conning us with the bank deals. So, yeah, they're propping it up, but what we're saying is that it's collapsed. And people, the headline story, Alex, for the Trends Journal's top trends that are coming out in a few weeks for 2011 is Wake Up Call 2011. Only the blind, the inept, the ideologically driven, and little kids aren't going to know the deal. And the deal is this. Europe has collapsed. There is no EU. It's gone. They're not going to be able to bail out Portugal. They won't be able to bail out Spain. Ireland is toast. They're not going to be able to salvage Italy with its 120% of debt to GDP ratio. They won't salvage Greece. The Germans are going to go off on their own. There's going to be a global currency crisis. It's happening in front of us. Why do you think people, why can't they wake up and see why gold is trading at $1,400 an ounce?